They are just a warrior soldier, and all they want to do is serve their country and fight.
We will break an individual down to see his true character. We'll see his strengths and we'll see his weaknesses in situations where he's at the absolute limits of human endurance to come up with a solution to achieve the mission at the end of the day. So selection gives us a good insight into the soul of the individual.
From the psychological perspective, they're really looking for someone who has, I guess, resilience being a key factor. Someone who's, capable of getting on with the job even when the chips are down, and really capable of dealing with that uncertain environment that's out there at the moment.
The course itself is physically and mentally demanding. If you haven't prepared yourself correctly, you'll be standing at the end of this course. You'll learn a lot about yourself. You'll learn a lot about the other soldiers standing around you. Be confident, trust in your own ability, and believe in yourself. If you do that, you'll be standing here in 21 days' time. And remember, I want warriors.
By day 3, you will see a delineation between the strong members on the course and the people that haven't prepared themselves or probably aren't going to finish the course successfully.
Did you train? You didn't train.
But there is the anomaly. There is just the bloke who's got plenty of ticker and he hangs in to the end. And they're everywhere in the regiment, I think. That's what makes it such a...
Here you'll see activities that are designed to create fatigue, that are designed to put people out of their comfort zone. It's probably the key point. And what that's trying to do is trying to reduce the person down to their, basic personality, and it becomes very clear whether someone's going to be able to do this job later on down the track when it's really counting.
Once they have been psychologically assessed, they are left to reflect in what is known as Camp Happy.
As you see at the start of the course, soldiers doubt themselves. They got families, not that confident in themselves, and they withdraw from the course very early. It's just something in that little back of their mind just triggers them and say, look, this is not for me.
By day 6, the men are in a daze. Now they are sent out on a solo navigation exercise. Although they must prove they can navigate by night and day, the real purpose is to keep wearing them down physically while providing enough space to encourage their growing self-doubt.
People will be saying to themselves, this is not for me, this is not what I thought it was going to be. Others are out there and quite enjoying themselves and saying, this is exactly what I've been looking for. And they're the ones that will probably get through at the end.
The selection course needs to be hard. We need to know that we're going to get an individual that will be able to stand up to the rigours of combat. Failure is not an option. With these qualities, they're able to operate in the environment where special operations generally reside. That is shrouded in friction, chaos, chance, uncertainty. There are certain circumstances where a patrol will be required to infiltrate very long distances over very rugged terrain. So Happy Wanderer tests that. It also tests their ability to traverse that terrain when they are at the very limits of their human performance. We'll see individuals during this phase that just can't bear to be operating by themselves. There's a lot of time out there to think, particularly when you're tired and you're exhausted. You'll be asking yourself continually whether or not this is worth it.
Individuals are left to their own devices. The idea being it's really uncertain. As the environment out there is uncertain on operations, etc. If you can get a person into that uncertain mentality, how are they responding? Do they have the mental capability to, remain positive-minded, remain optimistic, and keep going and keep persevering?
Someone told me while I was training that if you think you're going to stop, think of yourself on the battlefield. Would you stop because of that reason on the battlefield? 99% of the time, no, you won't stop.
Putting the guys under pressure through fatigue and lack of nutrition by not giving any food, it achieves the immediate aim of putting them in that circumstance that they may find on the battlefield. Most battles are lost in the mind of the individual well before they are physically lost on the battlefield. So you want an individual that will go that next step to ensure that mission success is always achieved. At the end of the day, your men are important, but the mission is the most important, and that's what we're trying to see out of Lucky Dip.
The activities are simple in nature. But when you are tired, sleep deprivation, lack of food, constant work rate, this is when all those little personal traits come out.
1, 2, 3, go!
This is where we really test the soldiers' mettle, their endurance, their tenacity, and that dogged determination comes through with those soldiers who want to win. Basically, we want a soldier that puts himself last, his team, his mates first, and a mission first. His comfort comes last, and that's a crux to it.
They're always playing games. Every day's a game. So as long as they give me an opportunity, I'll take it.
They can always fix you after. You know, guys have finished fucking selection courses with broken arms and broken legs and all sorts of stuff.
Every single soldier that we select is a leader in his own right. The officers need to be leaders of these leaders. Perhaps one or two individuals aren't very good at working in a small team environment. Therefore, you'll start to see the fractures occurring during the conduct of those simple tasks.
Put the dirt back in the holes.
Most guys are just pretty tired and like mentally over it. Just playing these games is starting to wear thin on a few people's patience. We found out yesterday that quite a lot of guys have withdrawn at own request. Statistically it's gonna happen, so you just pray that your body holds out till the end.
Number 37 loses consciousness and collapses head first.
Roll over onto your side. Roll over onto your side.
Hold there.
You just blacked out, mate.
Blacked out, mate.
Put your arms.
Okay, sit back so it's fucking comfortable for you. Okay, take your webbing off, mate. Take your webbing off.
Okay, just pretty good, mate.
You alright?
Yeah?
Alright.
What happened?
You just fainted, mate.
Alright.
You need to get
Where's
some
your
water.
med kit? Alright, let's go. Let's keep going. Get some ROSs here first, mate. Otherwise you go down again.
You good, mate?
We got to get going.
Just calm down with that.
Determined not to give the directing staff any reason to doubt his stamina, 37 marches on.
We will break an individual down to see his true character. We'll see his strengths and we'll see his weaknesses. We'll see his cognitive ability in situations where he's had very little sleep, situations where he hasn't eaten for a long time, or he has been at the absolute limits of human endurance to come up with a solution to achieve the mission.
Finally, 24 succumbs to the pain and asks to be taken to the medic. He knows that at this late stage, his chances of success are now in serious jeopardy.
I wish I hadn't bothered and just kept my mouth shut. If you go and say it, you might not come back out. That's, I suppose, the risk you take.
It is now the last night of the selection process, and as 24 is driven towards almost certain failure, those left face one last sleepless night. For 28, it's time to reflect on how he has managed to survive.
I look at this a bit differently, maybe. I don't consider it to be a course. This is, I'm here to do a job, and you only get to go home when the job's done.
Making it to the end of this 21-day ordeal does not guarantee selection. The regiment reserves the right to take only those who truly fit the profile.
Look, there are going to be soldiers that complete this course and won't be selected. At the end of the day, they're very good soldiers. I mean, they have passed this selection course, but they just have a little trait that may not be suitable for this unit. And I know they're going to be bitterly disappointed. I can tell you that now because I've seen it before.
You want to achieve success at the end of the day, and the hardest thing is not knowing if you've done enough.
The senior directing staff now meet for the final time. Tonight they will re-examine each remaining candidate, and by morning the axe will fall again. And for those who are chosen, it is just the beginning.
At the end of the selection course, I'll probably say, yes, this is the hardest thing that I've ever done. And I can tell you right now that from my own personal experience, the hardest thing that I did was the first activity after selection. In order to get the Sandy Beret with the wing dagger badge affixed with the motto, "Who Dares Wins," they'll undergo 18 months of intense training, both mentally and physically. They'll be tested every day. They'll be assessed every day. They're basically on a daily renewable contract.
Those left standing tonight may or may not gain selection. Each know they have now done all they can.
Personal pride pretty much kept me going, and I've finished the course. I was one of the few to finish the course, and if I get selected, that'll be even better. But I'll be able to look back on this phase of my life and say, well, at least I had a go and I was there till the end.